12 years of manifestation mistakes explained to you in 60 minutes. 12 years of a lot of on and off, disappointments, letdowns, and confusions dissected for you so that you can overcome your hindrances and get what you want fast. So, whether you are looking to land your dream job in 90 days, start that business, grow that business, and have an increased life expansion in 90 days, well, let's come and ace our world and let's start. Now, as somebody who has always been quite impatient for a whole life, I always want to see instant results. But when it comes to manifestation, do you know what the cause of your delays are? It's trying to seek validation from the 3D. It's looking for the 3D evidence. So therefore, as this version of me, who I've been in for 12 years since my teenage days, I'm always looking outside of myself to see proof that it's working. So let's just say, I want to see that after I looks max, confidence max, personality max, charisma maxed, I want evidence that it's really working, that I'm making new friends, manifesting a new life, having people come in, manifesting an awesome dating kind of thing going on at the time, like dating dynamics, and just filled with abundance of people and connections. Because growing up, didn't have many of that. So therefore, as somebody who is impatient, what I would do back in my early 20s and even a bit of my teenage years was trying to understand the law of attraction. So at the time, it wasn't really manifestation, but it was called the law of attraction. And the first time I was introduced to it was when I was probably 10, and it was called The Secret, that film by Rhonda Byrne. Yeah, anyway, so basically my mom introduced me to this film, and it says that you like attracts like, and if you are attractive within, you must attract without. So if you think positive thoughts, you will have positive outer reality. So I tried to do that in my teen years and in my early 20s. And what I would do is I would tell myself, I'm going to make an immense transformation to my life. So I would shoot through the roof. I would start working out. I would start to talk to myself positively. I would look smacks. Literally practice my makeup, practice my hair, and even confidence max, trying to socialize, make friends, initiate conversations, and put myself out there during uni days. And it absolutely worked for a bit. But then what would happen is that because I didn't solidify my new identity and I was operating as this version of me who was fragile, I had a very fragile mental state without even knowing that when you are pressuring yourself to be perfect and you're striving for perfectionism, eventually it's going to collapse because your identity is not secure. And as somebody who didn't have a secure identity, what I would then do is I would then also, on top of working out, looks maxing, confidence maxing, is look to 3D for evidence. So let's just say I study a bit of law of attraction and I watch a bunch of YouTubers at the time to do with personal development. And now I want to see results. I want to see that, if I'm this version of me, I can attract that person over there to want to be my friend, to want to be a part of my life. But then even if I was able to attract people to be a part of my life, I would now start to look, are they responding this way? But are they behaving the way that I want them to? But do these people like me? But am I popular yet? Am I there yet? And it was interesting because growing up, I was always told that my personality was too intense, and if I were to make friends, people wouldn't really like my true self. So I was repeatedly putting that belief into my subconscious that I was too intense and that it's hard for me to make friends because my personality is a bit too egoic, too arrogant, too cocky. But during my uni years, I started making friends with like people that were perceived to be top of the grades. So people that were studying medicine, people that were studying law, people who were just set up for a very good life. And their personality is just wonderful too. So these people are my great friends at the time. They're just beautiful souls. So I would start having these arguments and asking, like, if I truly can't attract good quality friendships, then why are these people who are studying medicine and getting like 99% in the cohorts, and they're just at the top of their cohort, and this guy who's like coming first from the entire uni cohort in business, why is he chasing me if I really couldn't attract the kind of friend circle and social life that I wanted to attract? So I had these debates with a family member who kept telling me that you got to tone yourself down and stop being so arrogant. And this debate, I didn't know, was me planting to my subconscious that I'm not worthy of the things that I want. So when you have these like really subtle planting of the seed that you're not worthy of what you want, because if you felt like you were worthy, you wouldn't have to debate about it. You start to look for your 3D for evidence. You start to go and check your ratings, like, but do they like me though? But can I be a part of this group? But will they accept me? But will he like me back, kind of thing? And it was just inconsistent results all the time. So therefore, as you keep going, and sometimes the 3D gives you either a lag or an opposite, what then happens is that your self-esteem takes a very low dip, the way that it did for me. So sometimes when things didn't go my way, my grades would drop tremendously. I thought that I was doing well in this subject, and then it just suddenly became 50 out of 100. I would feel like a failure, literally. So now I look up for 3D evidences that I've truly leveled up. I look for my grades, how I'm performing in uni, how I'm performing with other people, looking for my status in the world, looking to find my voice in the world based on 3D metrics. So you can do all the outer things, the outer shell of who you are, glowing up, whitening your teeth, working out, starving yourself, and just, on the outside, you can look really attractive. But if you're impatient with yourself, that maybe this journey might take more than 90 days. What happens is that at every turn where you start to improve, again, you're gonna look for evidence. And then the evidence gives you what you don't want. So then you dip again, and then you go again. Look for validation. And then it doesn't give you what you want. And then you dip the way they did for me, for very tumultuous in my 20s. So the one thing with manifestation is that you have to really trust your bridge of incidents. So this is what people call bridge of incidents, where sometimes the 3D reality, which is this line here, will give you rejections and lags and some false hopes, and it will just dip up and down, up and down. But the key is for your internal state to stay still, to not sway with the 3D. So therefore, my definition of manifestation is creating such a powerful internal shift to the point where the 3D reality has zero authority over you. Because when it does, you will then start to become this version of you eventually. After so many years of trial and error and just understanding human nature, reading Robert Greene's 48 laws of power, trying to understand it, and all this stuff. Basically, because if you spent maybe like a decade of your life stacking these old frequencies, the version of you who would, she'll put in effort. But then she will seek permission from the 3D. She will seek for approval. She will seek for validation. And the minute she gets criticized, she defends herself, saying that, but yeah, if I wasn't truly valuable, why are these students like my friend? Why do they want to be my friend? It's even defending yourself is you not having patience towards yourself. Because if you were truly patient with your own transformation, there is no need to explain anything to anyone. You will just stay secure knowing your place. So therefore, ideally, if you became more patient, or if I had become more patient, which I am now in my 30s finally, basically you would never take exponential leaps in the first 14 days. You'll take incremental actions. So you'd either read more, which I did, and you'd focus on narrowing your friend circle instead of trying to be friends with everyone. So you'll choose online friendship. You will discern. You'll keep to yourself. So even if your looks max, glow up max, confidence max, and personality max, but all those things serve your internal growth, not serving to your ego, where am I in this social circle? What is my status right now? Am I finally at the top of the rung? It's more about how do I feel within myself, regardless of what a 3D is showing me. And because you stuck your identity, you compound your new frequency. In a way where you are secure with yourself. You are certain with yourself. So one of my friends at the time in uni, Sue, so she was a medicine student, and I believe she's a doctor now. At the time when I was her friend, she's probably the most secure person I've ever met. She's loving, she's kind, she's generous, but she's so smart. But most of all, she just has an open heart, she's generous, and she never explains herself to anyone. I never see her get into drama. She's just so mature and so giving. I wish I would still keep in touch with her, but at the time, I just remember her as somebody who's like an angel. And the reason that people like her is not just because she's studying medicine and she's a doctor and she's perceived highly in the social rung, but her character is secure. That is what drew people to want to be a part of her life. And I didn't know why Sue was so lovely with me, why she was so nice to me. And at the time, she considered me her close friend, when I was the complete opposite of her. I had nothing. I felt like I was an empty shell. I was attractive on the outside. I had a beautiful smile, but I was nothing like Sue at the time. So then, the thing is, you kind of want to be like Sue, who you can be a doctor, you can study medicine. On the outside, you can have prestigious title, but inside, you don't really give a crap on how people judge you as much. Of course, she was young. She may have had her own set of insecurities, but I couldn't see it. And she didn't really talk about her insecurities as much, meaning that most of the time, she's secure with herself. So then Sue, I saw she never takes impulsive action. People who are secure take incremental actions because they are patient with the process. So whether it was diets and stuff, she'd never go on crash diets. She would do things in an incremental way, despite being a very high performer and always getting exceptional grades, 99% kind of thing. So you stack your wins really carefully until you get to an exponential point where you don't even have to try to go faster, but ultimately, the more slower you compound your wins, the more patient you are with yourself, the faster the progress, because patience is the key to rapid success. Patience is the key to rapid success. So the more patient you are with yourself, that today I did the inner work. Today I meditated. Today I took care of myself. If you were a student, today I studied. Today I chose to do the workout. Today I chose to do cardio. Today I chose to nourish myself. Today I chose a diet that works for me. And the thing is, once you are secure and stable in yourself, you're not in a rush for results to appear in a 3D. So even if you go on a 14 intermittent fasting diet, you do it because it serves your health, but you don't do it so that your body can finally shed beautifully for the next 14 days and in the next 30 days, so you can take a picture of your body to post onto socials. There's a very big difference, because the minute that you do anything for external approval, hence seeking reality, please give me some evidence that I'm liked. And asking the universe, which is universe, please universe, if I do IF, intermittent fasting, please show me that I'll be more likable as a result of having a nicer body, as a result of looking more gorgeous. Please universe, if I read, if I study, if I become successful, please give me the evidence that people will accept me more. Because the minute that you do that, you will never be patient with yourself. You would always feel frantic and looking for outer validation to see, has it landed? Has my body lost weight? Has the money come into my bank account? Has people shown me that they like me? Has the likes gone up? So this is the very first mistake I made in manifestation, which is impatience and constantly checking the 3D, and therefore distorting my frequency constantly, never compounding it correctly for it to have an exponential growth towards my success. Which leads me to the second mistake. So one of the things that really screwed me up for many, many years, one of the hindrance was the hindrance as explained by Shaolin Master Shi Hengyi. And he talked about this in his TED Talk back in the year 2020. And he was going through the 5 hindrances that we go through as one human tries to climb the mountain to success. So his analogy was climbing the mountain to the peak. And as long as you get to the peak by yourself, you're never able to really explain your experience on a theoretical level to people who've never been on top of the mountain like you. And that's why people refuse to understand you, because they don't see things from your experience. They haven't lived your experience. And one of the desires that he talked about was sensual desire. The other 4 was ill will, restlessness, dullness, and skepticism. But in this case, as I was always wanting to climb the mountain to my success, so this is the start here, the success, and this is me. What I usually would do is take my egoic self to climb this mountain. But the thing is, as long as you're operating from your lower I, which is your human ego, the thing is, your human ego is very finite. And the way for you to really manifest miracles and quantum leap is for you to actually access the capital I, which is your infinite self, infinite intelligence, or source. Now, when you're operating as this lower I, as I read in Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, he was talking about how there's a fish, and you can buy a fish, and you can name him John. So this fish of yours is a pet. And the way for the fish to be a lower I is that you name the John fish, and you kind of like, okay, he's a male fish. And so you give him character, you give him a physical plane identity. But then John the fish is ultimately consciousness, right? So that's the same with humans. Basically, our lower I is our concept of, when even Neville Goddard says, I am strong, I am weak, I am petty, I am this nationality, I am this age, I am a female. So that's more like the physical plane concept of yourself. Whereas the capital I is you are one with everything. You are the source. You are your higher self. And the higher self is not confined to the name that you have, the occupation that you have, the income that you have, and even your past or future. It's just love, your infinite source. If you take this egoic self, who obviously will have a limiting belief based on the identity that she's boxed herself in. So I'm Patty, who's Asian in Australia, and Asian in Australia, like myself, who grew up not in the affluent area as much. We experienced bamboo ceilings. As growing up, there's discrimination and racism and stuff like that I did experience. So these are limiting beliefs now that you place on yourself based on who you are. So then when I tried to climb this mountain, I kept getting hit with distractions. And these distractions are like shiny object syndrome. So as the egoic version of Patty who tried to climb the mountain to success, because I had past experiences of being overlooked, being discriminated, being ignored, experiencing some racism, being unseen, getting berated for not dancing well, and having to be put in the back row for like 8 years in every performance. Hence, putting into my subconscious that I'm just not worthy of being seen. Therefore, I took this baggage with me. So I'm carrying this bag, right? Hence, baggage. I'm taking this baggage up the mountain. So then when there comes a time where somebody like lends me a hand, they're like, somebody comes in and they lend me a hand, they're like, how can I help you? Even in Thai myths, they talk about this. It's like kind of when you get tricked by shiny object syndrome, and they give you like, if you turn back and you don't do what you say and you don't keep moving forward, then you will lose the goal that they already gave you. There was this Thai myth about it as well. So basically, how can I help you? They come in to position themselves as your mentor or people that can hold authority over you. And because of my sensual desire where I get easily addicted to beautiful things, beautiful experiences, I love hearing compliments. I love experiencing luxury, lavishness, and especially higher status people coming in, being like, how can I help you? These things are my sensual desire. So my egoic self cannot discern that these how can I help you mentors, they disguise themselves as people who are supposed to be like your rescuer, but they're there to extract from you. So basically, you attract what you are in resonance with. So if you're insecure, you're going to definitely attract an insecure person. And if you're an insecure person who looks attractive on the outside, then it's really hard for you to discern that that very attractive person is the same as you, because they're you pushed out. And you cannot possibly attract somebody who's truly secure and to have a long-term harmony thing with you, harmony relationship, harmony friendship, if you don't elevate your consciousness to match them. So basically, I was constantly distracted by people offering me compliments and like, yeah, take you out to dinner, and then, introduce you to this millionaire, and I'll introduce you to this person, and then you can come to Melbourne and do this and do that. And I kept getting swept off my path every few months. So there will be months where I'm already going up well, I'm progressing well, so I'm taking 100 steps towards my goal now. But then another one of the, can I help you, Patty? Oh, like, let's have coffee together, let's catch up, let me pick your brain for a bit kind of thing. And I get distracted. So therefore, every distraction of energy leak takes me down by 100 steps. So I end back at break even, which is a 0. And this happened to me repetitively over and over and over again. So when you're manifesting, you're like, you're doing your robotic affirmations, and you're doing your visualization, or you're doing hypnosis, and you're rewiring your subconscious in the alpha brainwave state. So you're impressing your subconscious. But then what happens is that after you do this, you then get distracted by the 3D evidence. Some of them is like leading you to the wrong path. Some of them is disguised as beautiful goals that you're supposed to achieve. Some of them are disguised as people that are supposed to help you. But the minute you get distracted and you leak your energy, you distort your frequency. So frequency distortion, it happens when your belief, your decision, your habit, your self-talk, your expectation, your focus, your attention, your thoughts, your emotion, your belief. Yep, your belief. All right, we put it down already. Basically, if these things, let's just say your belief may be correct, Your decision is correct. Your habit's correct. But your self-talk, oh crap, your self-talk is not correct. But then your expectation, it's kind of like getting there, but no, it's not correct either. But your focus isn't correct. Your focus is correct. Your attention, not really correct because it's sensual desire. So then your thought is incorrect and everything else is incorrect. Your emotions incorrect. If these things are not fully congruent to your higher self, the capital I, whose consciousness is elevated to be at the end state, as Neville Goddard says, to live in the end and start from the end, living in the wish fulfilled. And there's a distortion in the way you talk to yourself, what you expect, and then where you place your attention on, hence on people outside of you to give you validation, hence on the 3D evidence to shower you with things that you want to see. When all those things are created from within, and then you start to have thoughts that spiral or thoughts that don't align with the best version of you, and those thoughts then emit out a frequency, which then gets reflected in the 3D, and then it triggers some frustration, discouragement, and disappointment out of you, hence lowering your emotions. You're screwed. So the thing that you must be really careful of is sensual desire, which is distractions. Sometimes the path to success is boring, it's repetitive, it's not flashy, but as soon as you can conquer yourself, the version of you who can endure long focus and some boring times, then you are unshakable. Which leads us to the third mistake. Ready? Now, in the book Reality Transurfing, the author talks about this thing called a destructive pendulum. And you can call this your old self, your old frequency, your old thought forms, old beliefs. And basically, these entities are real. There was actually one YouTube video by this lady who was talking about thought forms, and she was showing us a diagram of like clouds and like how our thoughts look like clouds and they're going to different shapes. And that was really interesting because the more you repeat each thought that are emotionally charged, the more it becomes like, like a cloud, like a shape in the infinite, like in the realm where you can't physically see it. But then those thoughts become matter. So therefore, destructive pendulum is pretty much every single thing that you've thought of. So the stones that you dropped, and it compounds over time. The stones that then emits out a certain vibration. And if it's like a constant anxiety, then majority of your life, let's just say, like I was talking about this concept in my previous video, where if the predominant vibration that you've been imprisoned in is anxiety, it's resentment, it's discouragement, it's disappointment, it's things like, expecting anger, it's a letdown, it's now fear. And based on Dr. David R. Hawkins' vibrational chart, so the map of consciousness, you can see that in the below numbers, there's like below neutrality and below courage, there's like pride and anger and apathy and that kind of stuff. So let's just say that predominantly you've been operating at this state on the lower end of Dr. David R. Hawkins' map of consciousness. Then what's going to happen is that as you try to break free from this version of you who is obviously like she's trapped, this is a prison. This is like a vibrational prison. It locks you in to experience the same circumstances and events all in the same loop over and over and over. The minute you attempt to free yourself from these emotions to then become the version of you whose consciousness is now elevated, and you're trying to put in new vibrational states like courage, like optimism, like empowerment, and like peace, like relaxed, like security. Basically, the thought forms that are created from these feelings. So let's say this is thought. And these thought forms are already clusters, right? It's really interesting if you look at that YouTube video where like there was like the thought forms become literal shapes, and it's just, yeah. Well, let's just say like these thought forms have compounded like weeds in your garden. So these are literal energetic signatures. They're literal vibrations that are now here just because you've done a quantum leap internally by mentally deciding that you're going to live in the end state. So therefore, your predominant vibrational state is now going to be towards security, towards being relaxed, towards being abundant, towards being okay with yourself. Basically, these thought forms, they don't erase just like that. They don't. They fight for you to stay. So they try to cling on to you. They try to tug you back so you can go back here. So these thought forms, they're like, no, I'm not letting you go. So it's going to try and tug you back into anxiety through events, specific people, like people from your past, your co-workers, your boss, your neighbor. Literally in the book Reality Transurfing, the author speaks about how destructive pendulums can be as simple as your neighbor mowing the lawn. So to you, this neighbor is really annoying because they're mowing the lawn. But to the neighbor, they don't know that they're annoying you. But the reason that it's annoying to you is because you associate with neighbor mowing your lawn as invading your privacy or not giving you enough privacy to do things, kind of thing. So then that mowing the lawn neighbor would randomly appear out of nowhere to tug you back into frustration. Or if you had a co-worker or a boss who constantly dismiss you, make you feel unseen, and make you work double the hours, the minute that you try to feel relaxed, peaceful, optimistic about work and about progressing up the career ladder, instantly the same co-workers and the same boss will say something that will trigger your old self, like, you don't deserve it. No, you need to work harder. You need to save money here first. You can't climb that promotion. You need to work this job first for another 2 years, work this position first. So this will come up so that it can tug at your new self to go back into disappointment. So even when you try to go for a promotion and you're trying to now feel peaceful, feel confident in yourself, but then these old thought forms, unless you give it gentle acceptance and let it exist without triggering you, it's always going to win the game and pull you, descend you back into your lower I, which is your egoic self. So that it's going to try and distort the way that you think. It's going to distort the emotions that you emit out to the universe. It's going to make you feel discouraged and disappointed, hence distorting your emotions. Oh, and that gets repeated enough time, and it gets repeated into your subconscious. Now your belief is distorted too. And if any of those things I listed out is distorted, you're done. You're not going to a new reality, or you're not sustaining her. So therefore, being aware of destructive pendulum is so essential, and it's something that I couldn't do for a very long time, that the only way for you to win against this destructive pendulum is indifference, which is kind of the same as non-reaction. But the thing is, we're humans. We're still humans, and we're always going to react the first time if someone pisses us off, if somebody says, you suck, and that person means something to you. They're your close friend, or they're your boss, your co-worker, and you want approval from them, and it's like, but you suck. You're gonna feel a bit let down. But the person who rises above this understands that sometimes the pendulum speaks through those people. So it's not really the neighbors mowing the lawn, or like your co-workers or your boss or your family member that's trying to piss you off. It's the pendulum. So it speaks through them. Your boss, your family member, your old friend, your ex, who's, like, sometimes I'm just like, but I'm trying to move on. So why are you texting me? Sometimes I'm literally like upset that I'm making so much inner progress. I'm doing the inner work, I'm filming my YouTube videos, I'm this and that, and I'm trying to be optimistic on the future, and then I get a ping and it's like, but I don't want that with you anymore. So why? Why now? Why now? So that is actually the pendulum presenting itself through him and not actually him. So I'm trying to see that objectively and give him as much compassion and kindness as possible, because you start to think that it's these people that pisses you off. It's actually no, it's the pendulum, the old frequency, the old version of you. So the more that you can be indifferent through gentle acceptance as possible, the more power you have. And then every one of your opposite circumstances and obstacles become an ant. So you become the giant and every one of your problems become an ant. Hence, that's why I'm a big believer that you have to be the one to show the 3D reality who's the boss here. And by doing that, you take full ownership of yourself and have authority over the 3D reality. Okay? So that's the fourth one. Let's go to the fourth one. So interestingly, I always had this weird relationship with the things that I want, where I constantly over-idealize everything, including growing YouTube subscribers, including making certain friends, including getting to the university that I want to go to. I constantly saw these things as something that was above me. I saw the university as above me. I saw people as being above me. And so then I was constantly placing myself in a position where I would create this ceiling to things like the exact revenue that I wanted in my business, the exact kind of partner that I wanted, the exact kind of community and friendship that I wanted, the exact lifestyle that I wanted. And it's insane because even back then, I used to idealize being fit and thin. So even fitness and looks, I used to idealize it. And I was thinking like, because I'm not a naturally skinny person, it must be really hard for me to look like a celebrity kind of thing, like a Thai celebrity. So the thing is, I talked about this in the video where I was talking about detachment, that as long as you have this neediness and desperation for this, you're creating this thing called excess potential. And this excess potential creates a space. The more importance you place on the prize outside of you, the more space you create with the prize. And this includes your desired reality. And that's the whole point of people getting into affirmations and hypnosis to manifest their desired reality, is that a part of them sees the desired reality as being so important. Like, it means so much to me that I get this job. It means so much to me that this guy loves me back. It means so much to me that I grow this YouTube. And I totally get on an objective level, these things do mean a lot to you. But on an energetic level, the minute you say that this guy, like, he's everything to me, you're pretty much saying that you don't have him. Or if you're saying that this business means the world to me, this YouTube channel means the world to me, and I just have to make it happen, on an energetic level, you're also saying that you're not enough for it, so you don't have it. And I always like the thing that Nero talked about, which is the desire of your desire. And even in Parallel Universe of Self by Frederick Dodson, he was saying that, like, you can have what you already have. And I know Nero says this a lot in his video, but yesterday I found this literal line in the book Parallel Universe of Self. And what Frederick Dodson said as well is that when you have what you already have, it is implied that those things are normal to you. And when something is normal to you, the energetic charge is diffused. But let's just say that fitness and looks that you wanted, and it's a big deal to you for you to be thin and pretty and hot. If the type of friendships that I wanted, like a friendship with Sue, is such a big deal, which, I mean, it's very meaningful to me to have that friendship. But let's just say you want 10 plus of those friendships. And you want to elevate your status, make friends with successful people, but then also have beautiful unconditional connection from it. But it's such a big deal to you, you need to have friends. And it's such a big deal to you that this business work or this job, like this job works out. And it's so important that this guy loves you. He has to love you. Otherwise you can't feel complete. Or it's so important that you must have this lifestyle you've always dreamt of, with a luxury car and luxury handbags. And if you don't have it, you'll feel diminished. If these things are too important, that means that it's not normal. And if it's not normal, then you don't have it vibrationally. So the saying, as within, so without. If you don't have within, you're not going to have without. So the way for you to have this when it comes to over-idealization is to remove this line. And to remove this line is for you to remove neediness and desperation. And then what you do is that you take the elevator up, the consciousness elevator up, to be of match to these things. So by the time your body, your dream body lands in the physical reality, which eventually it did for me because I did a ton of swimming and I walked a lot at the time, and I was crazy about fitness and I loved it. And I eventually sustained the bikini bod over time to this day. Like, I really appreciate my body and I really appreciate how I look, but it's not overly special. It's not overly idealized. I don't look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, body, you're so amazing. I love you so much. Like, I look so hot. I do it occasionally, but I don't do it a lot because I know that I have it. And once you have it, it's normal. When it comes to friendships, there were a lot of times where I had really beautiful friendships. But by the time they land in the physical reality, by the time I had it, even before physical reality, I felt secure in myself to a degree that I don't really need that much friends. And that's why the friends came to me, because I don't really need anything much from them. Same with business and job. It's like the minute that I surrender, every time I surrendered and I was like, I'm having fun with the process. I'm not in a rush to get results. As in, I do want results now. And I know that in the world of sales, everything means instant, instant, instant. But there was a time, lots of times, where I was happy with what I was doing. I was happy with who I was meeting. I was happy with my LinkedIn. And the minute I said to myself, like, today's a great day, it's extraordinary already, suddenly things happened faster because it felt like I was having it vibrationally. And same with partner and lifestyle as well. Like, for me, it's really like normal for people to be like so beautiful. Are you single? And meet people at the swim and they smile at me and stuff like that. It's very normal. And that's because I don't need men to smile at me at the swimming center. I don't need men to tell me that I'm beautiful. I tell myself that all the time, in a normal way, in a gentle way, that, yeah, you look really nice today, the makeup's nice. So then it gets pushed out into 3D reality. So then when men are like, you're so beautiful, and they start talking to me and stuff like that, it's like, I appreciate it, but it doesn't do anything to my self-esteem. It just makes my day better, which is, I really appreciate it. And same with lifestyle as well. It's like a lot of things don't do much to me anymore. And the minute that even this dress, this red dress that I love, like years ago, I wanted a dress like this. The minute that the dress doesn't mean much to me as much because I'm okay without it, I just found a way to get it on discount and everything. And it's just like, wow, things do come to you when you just lower the importance a bit, just lower it. And by doing this, you diffuse the emotional charge. So you don't put like an overemphasis on a thing and make it more valuable than it is. Because think about Sephora makeup, right? There was a time where I'm so broke that I just can't get any Sephora items. It was bad. So then I started comparing Sephora eyeshadows to the eyeshadows that I get at somewhere else with no brand. And I tested out the pigment level. And it turns out that the eyeshadow that I used that was way cheaper than Sephora, I've been using it up to this day. The pigment is great. Some of them is not as strong of a pigment, but the pigment is there. And when I wear that eyeshadow, I look so gorgeous, just like wearing a Sephora eyeshadow that costs $200 per palette, some of them, right? The same thing with glitter eyeshadows, the same thing with lipsticks and, like matte lipsticks and stuff. I compared NYX to Sephora ones. I don't remember the brands. There's so many lipstick brands. Like I compare Gucci ones to NYX's one. I compare all these things. And in the very end, majority of these makeup products are similar in quality. So you still look the same wearing the cheaper makeup, as long as the quality is it's good. But to me, every single cheap makeup that I bought lasted for years. It was okay, but it wasn't bad quality. What I'm trying to say is that we place over excess importance on makeup where they put brand names on it. So they make you over idealize that it's Sephora, it's Gucci, it's Louis Vuitton, it's this and that. But when you really wear the makeup, as long as you're beautiful, it's gonna work. You don't have to wear those ones. So this goes the same with us over idealizing designer bags, us over idealizing vacations and what it means to be in Bali, what it means to have an Instagram selfie in Bora Bora, what it means for us to, flex to people that our lifestyle is exotic and we're doing great things. It's not that important. I mean, majority of the things is how you interpret it. But the way for you to literally, I'll show you. Ooh. So the way for you to end the distance between you and your desired reality, whether that is a Chanel bag, it can be your desired reality. The thing is, when you're like, a Chanel bag is so important to me to carry it. Entire society, having designer bag is a massive thing. Like, if you don't have designer bags, you're literally excluded from certain crowds. It's just the way the culture is, the way people are. It's like they place so much importance on designer goods. So then if you have this energetic feeling that getting a $7,000 bag is so important to my self-esteem because Sally's gonna not like me if I don't have a Chanel bag. Oh, but Jane's not gonna include me if I don't drive a Merc. You're done. It's not gonna come to you. So what you would do is you'll strive to get it by taking 10,000 steps to get it. Whereas the version of you who has what she already has, what she would then do is stay exactly where she is. She elevates her consciousness already. So therefore, because her expectation, her thoughts, her emotions, her behavior, her decisions, her actions, her focus, her attention is all aligned. Every part of it is aligned to the version of her who has that thing. It's like the Chanel bag just easily come to her the way that this dress came really easily to me. And a lot of makeup now these days, like I can have any makeup that I want because I don't need Sephora or Mecca to feel gorgeous. It doesn't need to be those brands. So therefore, from you, your capital I, all it takes is 5 aligned steps. Just 5 more aligned action. You take a bit of aligned action and the desired reality merges with you. So therefore, you and your desired reality, whether that is Chanel bag, the business, the Google job, it becomes one. Because you do the mental affirmations, but you take some physical aligned action. And the more you create self-generated evidence, the more the reality comes to you. So therefore, you're moving this closer to you by you shortening the gap. But the way for you to shorten the gap literally is for this gap that's now erased. Let's just say now there's only like 100 more steps. For you to narrow this gap eventually, all it takes is minimize its importance. Just minimize it. You vibrationally have it, which Wayne Dyer talks about when like this thing that I heard in this Audible where you can literally pay yourself $1,000 and put that vibrational $1,000 in your pocket so that when you go window shopping and you see the things that you want, you vibrationally pay yourself those things by giving yourself the feelings that you would feel upon having it. So I felt gorgeous without the expensive makeup. I felt good before this dress came to me. I felt sexy. But the thing is, you can feel secure. You can feel relieved. You can feel relaxed. You can feel gentle gratitude. You can feel excited. You can feel all these positive feelings ahead of time and saturate yourself in these feelings so that before the thing lands, it's like, I'm already used to feeling that way without the thing. So when the thing comes, it enhances how you already feel. It doesn't fill in an empty hole. Which leads us to the final point. Are you ready? Now, the last thing I want to really emphasize, which I have before in this video, is you need to stop seeking permission from people who you think are above you. External authorities can be mentors, people you look up to, celebrities, influencers, your parents, or your relatives. It can be your cousins too. It can be your sibling. You need to stop giving external authority to anyone else, regardless of how old you are or how young you are. Because for you to win the game of life and for you to literally have reality obey you, you again must create such a powerful internal shift to the point where the 3D reality has zero authority over you. I get it that your parents, majority of parents in this world love their kids. So I've seen some crime podcasts that are like the parents are just weird and stuff like that. But majority of the time, parents love you. Mom and dad loves you. But they know what they know. And they grew up in a different time and age. And sometimes the things that you want, they haven't lived it or experienced it, especially in your age. So they will project their opinions onto you. They'll say things like, it's not safe. It's not safe. Get a job instead. Don't build a business. Why don't you get married now? That kind of thing. You know, save money, which, yeah, of course, you've got to save money. All those things. And like that path is dangerous, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. When you assign authority to people outside of you, you're going to take their words as a spell, like a prophecy. And the minute that a mentor who literally, well, he's not a mentor to me anymore, but at the time he said to me, but reading doesn't make you money. And I read for 6 hours of Dimmix and I was like, I feel so phenomenal. I'm going to make insane amount of money and I'm going to feel so successful that it's going to become my reality. And he says to me, but reading a Dimmix for 6 hours doesn't make you money. So why don't you go and work at a coffee shop instead to make some money? If you take these people's word as your spell, as your instruction, and as your belief, again, you are limiting yourself in other people's paradigm. And the minute that other people's paradigms imprison you and jail you in a limited box, you are done. You are screwed. So therefore, when it comes to manifestation, I need you to really have a high level of self-trust that you know what is best for you. And how do you know this? Because you don't operate from your lower eye. You don't. You operate as the higher version of you. And your higher self, your infinite intelligence, she knows and he knows what is best for you. She has the answers, he has the answers. So as long as you stop letting people give their 2 cents of advice for your life, no matter if they're 8-figure entrepreneurs or 7-figure entrepreneurs or investors or whatever, like how they look on paper, and they seem to have more power over you. Just because you're 14, just because you're only 20, just because you are young, it doesn't mean that older people have more authority over you. You can respect them, especially in Asian culture, you can absolutely respect your seniors, but do not let their words, their paradigm, their limited paradigm box you into a limited way of thinking, especially a limited self-belief. So the minute that you're able to overcome this, you are going to become the master of your reality. Okay? So please make sure that you give yourself the wonders of the life that you want. For me, it's a life near the ocean waters. I don't care about trophies anymore. I mean, I never cared about that much. But some people really value status and getting a mortgage and getting married by a certain age and having kids by a certain age. None of those things are important to me. My thing, the most important thing to me is growth at every single stage of my life. Internal growth, feeling wholesome, feeling satisfied, and feeling deeply satiated by life. So give yourself permission to feel satiated by life, regardless of how you are perceived to anybody in any ecosystems. If today you are happy and you are deeply satiated by your own decisions, that is the correct thing to do. So keep compounding your frequency in that way, and don't let anybody who position themselves to have more influence or authority over you to make your self-belief sway. Don't let them make you lose your conviction. Okay? So these are the 5 manifestation mistakes I made. And if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to be opening up a coaching service soon. And my mission is to empower high-achieving women to reach their tipping points in 8 to 12 weeks by shattering the inner worth ceiling and also raising it. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and see you soon. Bye-bye.